Hello everyone, welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV.
Newcastle Fans TV.
Yes, good morning everyone. Me, Harry and Josh is on his way, just a couple of minutes away from being on this video. It is Premier League Fixture Release Day. I know we're all into the Euros. We've seen England beat Croatia. We've seen Scotland lose. That's just normal. But Newcastle have Premier League fixtures to look at 9 o'clock this morning. I'm here with Harry. Harry, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone out there as well. How are we all doing? Yeah, excited to see these fixtures.
We are very excited. Steve, what a trooper. 3:45 in the morning in the US. Dedication to the maximum as per. Ollie says, bet you any money we'll get Spurs in the first 3 games. Harry, that's what you were saying just off camera. We have played Spurs very early in the last few years. I remember playing them at home twice in a row on the first day of the season. And then obviously the last couple of years, it's been the 3rd game of the season away from home. So you kind of have a little theory, don't you?
Yeah. Because I was just looking before. We've obviously, yeah, as you just mentioned, we've had them every season since we've been promoted. So it wouldn't surprise me if we got them again. But then law of averages, it's got to be a bit later at some point.
It has at some point. We'll have to wait and see. 9 o'clock is when the fixtures come out this morning. And we'll make sure that we'll get them live to you as quick as we physically can. Matthew Phillips, good morning. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. Get your comments in. Who would you like to see Newcastle play first game of the season? Brandon's at work. He's let me know the first game so I can plan my trip to the mighty Toon. To be fair, Brandon, we've had a lot of home games first game of the season. The first home game of the season can either be the weekend of the 14th and 15th of August or the 21st and the 22nd of August as well. So, yeah, we've got not too long. And obviously, hopefully restrictions are ended by July the 19th. And if that is the case, we should be able to see Newcastle play at St. James's Park. We've sorely missed it, haven't we, Harry?
Oh, massively. As everyone's been saying, football is nothing without the fans, as we all know. And yeah, it's just brilliant to be back. Even if for that Sheffield United game, I was lucky enough to be there. It was just a brilliant occasion to be back, and it just gives you a kind of taste of wanting more again and wanting to be back involved at the football again.
Of course. Geordie Sancaster, good morning to you. Hope you're well. Watford or Brentford away is my guess. Sam, do you want a newly promoted? I was going to say Sam, but Sam is behind the scenes. We might speak to him a little bit later on. Harry, do you want Watford or Brentford or Norwich? Because they're the 3 promoted sides. They're the teams that are obviously just coming up. But I think this is probably on paper the 3 strongest championship outfits we've ever seen that have come from this division. Because you look at Norwich, yes, they're a bit of a yo-yo club, but they've got some fantastic quality. Brentford, we've seen, obviously, they beat us in the League Cup last year. Ivan Toney, fantastic player. And Watford, I've got strong players throughout the whole team. I think they were very unfortunate to be relegated just over 12 months ago. I'm a bit wary of taking on a promoted team in the first couple of weeks. What about you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree because they're all attacking teams as well, so which would tend to think we'd park the bus or, as we have done in recent years. So I wouldn't necessarily like to play them in the first few games, no, because if they get off to a good start, which you could see us giving them a good start, then they could get going, and it just wouldn't be a good look. And we've seen it in previous years when we played Norwich on the second weekend, was it? The season they were in. Yeah, so I wouldn't particularly like to do that because it'd just be embarrassing.
Andrew says morning. Exactly. Andrew says morning, lads. Please not Manchester City away. We have had Manchester City away. It was the 2013-14 season was Man City away. People can remember Johan Goodbye had put in a transfer request. He wanted to go. Arsenal put in a £10 million bid, but Newcastle never going to let him go for $10 million. Just looking at the last 10 years and that Newcastle being in the Premier League, obviously they have been in the Championship 2016-17, not League One. Would never get that low. Never get low to League One. We haven't stayed in League One for 4 years. So if there's any Sunderland fans watching, this is what Premier League football fixtures are like. You play on the big teams as well. But 2010-11, first home game of the season was Manchester United at Old Trafford. Season after, Arsenal at home. So a couple of difficult ones. 2012-13, Tottenham at home. Actually won that day. Manchester City back-to-back for the next 2 seasons, and Southampton at home in 2015-16. Who can remember Steve McLaren's first home game where Gabriel Obertan started and played okay for a change? And after the Championship, 2 games against Spurs and a game against Arsenal, and then last season, West Ham away. Andrew, fantastic. Thank you very much for becoming a YouTube member. If you want to become a YouTube member, just like Andrew, you get a lot more content than everybody else. You get at least about 20 to 30 videos extra a month. They've had 7 exclusive videos so far in June, and they're gonna get more and more throughout the month with the Euros and Newcastle news coming along the way, transfer news, etc. So yeah, big thank you to Andrew. But yeah, the majority of the times we've played in the last 10 years, Harry, apart from that Championship season, there have been teams that have been in the top 6 or predominantly top 6 teams. Your Arsenals, your Spurs, your Manchester United, your Manchester Cities. Obviously, we've had West Ham and Southampton in between that. We don't really seem to get a nice-ish first fixture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a shame, but then again, it's kind of one out the way because generally we don't tend to start that way well anyway. You could say that's because we don't get a good first game, but if we're not starting well anyway, you might as well get one of the big boys out the way. It's kind of how I see it. But it would be nice to play a nicer team at home, say your likes of a Southampton or God dare not me say a Brighton, but someone of a lower caliber reputation kind of thing to try and get an easier fixture out the way. Having said that, not a promoted side, but it'd be nice to get a nice fixture at home to begin the season with.
It's funny you say Brighton, and I just got shivers down my spine, which is not good to say the least. But yeah, obviously it's going to be quite interesting to see how the first 6 games kind of unfold for Newcastle, because Newcastle generally, I think they had a bit of an okay start last season. At one point, when we were 1-up against Manchester United after 2 minutes, if we ended up holding on to win that game, Newcastle would have been second for a few hours. A good start's always important. Steve Bruce is going to need a good start again, Harry, because there's always going to be pressure on him because of the job that he's in. People might say that's unfair. Some people might say that's warranted. Who do you think he'd be looking at for the first 6 games? Do you think he's even bothered to Newcastle get first 6 games, or do you think he wants a home game first, or does he want to maybe have a away game against maybe a Crystal Palace, somebody like that, who it's not a bad game to start off with, and then maybe get a home game after that, and maybe Newcastle might have at least a point on the board?
I think he'll be looking at a home game probably, because he knows, and he's said it so many times, that the fans, like him or not, the fans will always get behind the team. So he knows that our best chances of getting off to a good start are going to be with a full 50,000 crowd there. Whether restrictions allow that or not, we'll see. But I hope that's the plan anyway. So he'll be wanting a home fixture. I think the likes of maybe, as I said before, Southampton, maybe Wolves or Palace with new managers in. Just because they might not be fully kind of tactically adapted to the potential new systems or, something like that. So I think maybe the likes of Palace, Wolves or Southampton, something like that at home.
I think that would be a lot of people looking at that would be like, yeah, I'd be quite happy with that first game of the season. Christmas period has always been difficult for Newcastle United.
Yeah.
Christmas, like Boxing Day, maybe the game just before Boxing Day, and then there's a game in between Boxing Day and New Year's Day, and then you've got the FA Cup third round. So it's always a very busy time around about that sort of year. Generally, from what you see, it's going to be your Evertons, your Leeds, your Burnleys, your Man United, Man Cities, Liverpools. It's going to be them sort of teams because they're going to try and keep it as northern as possible. I possibly would even include Leicester in this. I know that's not essentially a northern team, but we have played them a couple of times over the New Year's. So if it is the case, Harry, it looks like we'll probably have a Manchester United or a Manchester City or a Liverpool from Boxing Day to New Year's Day. It's never been really kind to us. Do you kind of worry about that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. That it was just before Boxing Day, really, last year when it all kind of when our season fell apart, let's say, in terms of picking up points, because it was that defeat to Leeds. I think it was on the 16th that we all that we got battered there, then we drew to Fulham, and then it was Liverpool, Leicester. No, sorry, City, Leicester, than Liverpool. It's a horrible run of fixtures, and that's a key part of the season. So yeah, we really haven't been kind, because I remember I seem to think that we always get Manchester United on Boxing Day, or we get them quite a few times, at least twice in the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, Ollie's saying we always used to get Man United on Boxing Day, and some used to always get Man City. Do you know what I want this year, right? I just want a home game on Boxing Day. Even if it is against Man City, I just want a home game on Boxing Day. I'm sick and tired of watching away games on Boxing Day for Newcastle United. I can't remember the last time we were at home on Boxing Day. I think it was something like Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship. It's been such a long time. I sit with them down the A19, getting a home game to bloody Wimbledon or Gillingham or Blackpool or something on Boxing Day. Sort it out. That's my little rant over. But yeah, just under a few minutes until the fixtures get released, Harry. If there was one game you didn't want, first game of the season, mine would be Manchester City away. I don't want us to be playing Man City away first game of the season. I think that would be the worst possible game, because you just can't really get going. I know some people have the argument, well, it's better to have them now than, say, halfway through the season when they're kind of in a bit of form. But that's the one game I just don't look forward to, is Man City away. Is there one game for you that you just wouldn't want to see Newcastle get in the next couple of minutes?
I'd have to agree there, to be honest. It's like, if we face one of the other so-called big six, whatever, other than unless it was Liverpool, I think it wouldn't necessarily destroy us. But Man City, I think if we lose 5-6-0 Man City opening day, it would just be a massive kick in the teeth, and I wouldn't like to see that at all.
Yeah. Stoke at home 2013. I don't know if you were there, Harry, but 5-1. I remember like it was yesterday. Stoke were down to 9 men, and then Newcastle was 1-0 down. So it was an interesting one. I think Asiidi, scored. Maybe I might be wrong with that. Thoughts on Rafa being linked to Everton again? I just don't see it happening, Harry. Do you? I think for me, Rafa, such loyalty to Liverpool. I know he'd like a job back in the Premier League. I don't think he's made any secret of that. I just kind of see it happening. I think Everton are after Nuno.
Yeah, I don't either. I thought Nuno was near enough signed on about a few days ago, something. I don't see it happening either, to be honest. He's a loyal man, got principle, and I cannot see it happening. I mean, I know he joined Chelsea when he said that he wouldn't, to Liverpool fans, but I can't see it happening to that kind of close rivalry.
The fixtures are nearly here. So Newcastle United's fixtures are probably just about a minute away from being released to the public. Just a little secret for you, the press actually know an hour beforehand, before everybody else, so they can get their articles written. They obviously just can't release them until bang on 9 o'clock. So we will get those fixtures out very, very shortly. Rafa was something like 7-2 last time I seen, but Nuno was 1-4 on, which basically is not a million miles away from a done deal. But until that contract is signed, it'll be interesting to see if the former Newcastle manager turns out to be Everton's new manager. I think there'll be a couple of headlines down at Merseyside way, where Rafa, of course, has a house on the Wirral. But yeah, we're very, very close. I think, again, have the fixture lists been kind to Newcastle United? It is going to be very, very interesting to see. Last game of the season, Harry, that's always a bit of an interesting one. Will there be any drama? Everyone thought Fulham versus Newcastle was going to have a bit of drama. Who would you like to see at the last game of the season? Would you like a home game last game of the season?
Always like a home game. It always feels better to, say goodbye to the players or whatever as they come around and it's always better to end on a home game as well. Get in, whether we'll be safe or not or have anything to play for. It's always better with a home crowd there to encourage the boys on. So yeah, always like to see a home game.
Yeah, everyone does, and we're literally seconds away now from Newcastle's first game of the season. Who will they take on at St James's Park? First game of the season. Will it be the first game of the season?
Stop. Oh, right.
That is multitasking.
We
Harry.
have.
Dun, dun, dun.
Sorry.
West Ham.
Yeah.
It's West Ham United at home on the first weekend of the season. It is the same as last year. The only difference is that it's at St James's Park. So Newcastle will take on West Ham United at St James's Park on the first weekend of the season. Harry, your just initial reaction for West Ham at home, just the West Ham game. What's your reaction to that? Are you happy?
I don't mind that. It's a home game. It's West Ham are obviously on the back of a good year, but they might have their eyes on Europa League. I don't know when that starts. They're obviously not in the qualifying.
Wow.
Actually. But sorry, Harry. It's a big one.
Yeah, let's just get the first weekend's fixtures. Brentford versus Arsenal, Burnley versus Brighton, Chelsea versus Crystal Palace at Stamford Bridge, Everton versus Southampton, Leicester versus Wolves, Manchester United versus Leeds. What an opening game. Ooh. That will be at Old Trafford. Newcastle versus West Ham United. That's what we were buzzing about. Norwich versus Liverpool at Carrow Road. So that Norwich, the Championship champions, will take on Jurgen Klopp's side. There's been some good games there. The biggest game probably, though, Harry, Tottenham versus Manchester City. The champions travel to the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's going to be fantastic to see Spurs, Man City, and Watford, Aston Villa round it all off.
That's a very good opening game. To be fair, Spurs, City, and Leeds.
Manchester
United. That's huge.
That's some fixtures, right? Newcastle have Aston Villa away on the 21st of August. That is the first away game for Newcastle United. It's then on the 28th of August. Newcastle are at home to Southampton. It's a very good start for Newcastle. 11th of September, Manchester United away. 18th of September, Leeds at home. I'll tell you what, it's been some nice home games so far for Newcastle. The 25th of September, it is Watford away. The 2nd of October, Wolves away. 16th of October is Spurs at home. I'm just going to fast forward to the Christmas period.
That's a bad one.
That's a bad one. It's always a bad one. 26th of December, Newcastle are at home. Newcastle have a home game on Boxing Day. I wanted a home game on Boxing Day, Harry. We've got it. It's Manchester United at home, though. A couple of days later, it is Everton at Goodison Park. And then the 1st of January, Newcastle away to Southampton. That can't be right. Away to Southampton on New Year's Day.
Fancy that. That's a shocker.
Away to Southampton on New Year's Day. Are the Premier League having a laugh? That's an absolute disgrace, by the way.
Yeah.
We will have all the fixtures up. As you can see in the ticker, West Ham at home, Aston Villa away, Southampton at home, Manchester United away, Leeds at home, and Watford away are your first 6 fixtures of the brand new Premier League season. The last game of the season for Newcastle United is against, if you can bear this 2 seconds. I'm trying
Burnley away, I think.
It is Burnley away. 22nd of May, Burnley away. We get to see. We go to Turf Moor on the final day of the season. Aren't we lucky, Harry? We are very, very lucky.
Absolute delight.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? But Saturday, the 14th of August, Newcastle at home to West Ham. It's not a bad fixture at all for Newcastle. Yes, they had a fantastic season last year, but to avoid the top 6. The first 6 fixtures are quite kind for Steve Bruce, Harry.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Have you seen the December run?
I'm tell you what I'm doing. I'm doing something that girls can do and we can't do, and that is multitasking. So let's have a look at December. So Wednesday, the 1st of December, Newcastle at home to Norwich on a Wednesday night. Saturday, the 4th of December is Burnley at home. The 11th of December, Leicester City away, and then it's another midweek fixture. Away to Liverpool away to Liverpool on the 15th, and then Manchester City just 3 days later at St James's Park. It's apart from maybe the Liverpool Man City and then Liverpool Man City, then Manchester United. That's quite tough. That, Harry. Liverpool away, Man City at home, and then Manchester United away. Wowzers.
To be honest, to put it simply, in 15 days we've got all the top 4.
Yeah,
all of this year's top 4. That's horrible.
It is horrible. So get your comments in. We'll get some of the best comments on screen. December is going to be tough, says Anthony Darling. Brandon, who do we play on Boxing Day? Manchester United is on Boxing Day. I'm happy with West Ham first game of the season, says Elliot. We are going to try and put a graphic on screen very, very shortly of Newcastle's fixtures this season. Steve says West Ham are a good team, so I'm a bit disappointed and scared about that one, but it could have been worse, and it's at home. I think we've done okay, to be honest with you, Harry. I think it could have been worse, those fixtures. So I'm relatively quite happy with that. For the first few fixtures,
because I suppose it's not too bad up until December. Like we'll face, like it's all right. The first 6-7 games we've got Man United away, but other than that, they're all.
You're going to have tough games.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that. The one thing that really is really frustrating me: how on earth, right, have Newcastle United got Southampton away from home on New Year's Day? If the Premier League are watching this, why would you put Newcastle vs Southampton on New Year's Day? It's an absolute disgrace, by the way. Like, did they not look and go, oh, by the way, I don't think this is a good idea? It's absolutely ridiculous. I think it's honestly, it's just another thing to get annoyed with the Premier League.
Absolutely.
The Englishman Christmas run is always cruel to us. At least none of the games are south of Sheffield. Yes, I agree with you on that one. But yeah, Newcastle versus West Ham is the first game of the season. First away game is Aston Villa on the 21st of August. Not the worst away day in terms of an away game to have. But do you think it's not? I don't know about that. Aston Villa are a funny one, aren't they, Harry? Are you happy with that one?
It depends, really. I think it depends on how the summer goes. But obviously, you look at the table and you look at how they've already started to invest, and it doesn't look great. But there's always a chance there, isn't there? There's always a chance. It's a bit of a rivalry as well, so we'll be up for it, and the crowd will be behind us in our few thousands in the away end. But there's always been noise, won't there, Jonny?
Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Especially with the Premier League, to say the least. I'm just having a little look there. Manchester United, Man City, November the 6th, and the reverse one is March the 5th. Yeah, it's very fascinating. I've got a few more comments in. The Watford game was right before my birthday, says Aidan. Happy with the fixtures at the start. Hire a bus for the Southampton game. It's not just the bus. I'm sorry, but this is just ridiculous, right? There was no way. There was absolutely no way that you should be going any further than Leicester, Aston Villa. And I mean, Aston Villa at the very, very worst. I just think that's absolutely stupid. Honestly, I'm proper annoyed with that. I don't get annoyed with a lot of things, but yeah, for people that just joined the stream now, it is West Ham at home, just exactly the same as last year, but the first game's going to be at St James's Park. I'm just. It's always a bit exciting, isn't it? Oh, there we go. We've got the fixtures in front of you.
Perfect.
Let's go through it. So yes, West Ham at home, Aston Villa away, and Southampton at home for August. That's not a bad start, Harry. 2 home games and an away game. None of the top 6 in the first 3 games. Steve, how many points do you think from the first 3 games we'll have to look at? Do you think maybe 5 points has to be like an average?
I think so. I think with 2 of them being at home, you'd want at least 4 points from the 2 home games. That's obviously being quite, maybe you could say a little bit greedy, considering Southampton started very well last season and West Ham had a great season. But you've got to be wanting, 5 points from those games, I would say.
I believe Josh is joining us in the stream. Morning, Josh. Can you hear us?
Morning, lads. Yeah, all good. You all right?
Yeah, I'm very good. We're just going through the full fixture list, as you can see in front of you, Josh. But West Ham at home was the first game of the season. Happy?
Decent, yeah. I think we'll beat them at home. I know they had a good season last season, but the Moyes effect never lasts more than 1 season, does it? So,
yeah, I think it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because you look at the fact that it's quite a kind fixture list to start with. The first 3 games, I'm just speaking to Harry about the first 3 games. West Ham at home, Aston Villa away, Southampton at home. We could have had a lot worse. Could have had a lot worse.
Really?
Is that how much you're expecting?
I'm expecting 6 points from that, yeah.
Definitely. Well, let's look at September's fixtures. Manchester United away, then Leeds at home. Manchester United actually take on Leeds United first weekend of the season. That will be absolutely exciting, especially if fans are allowed back in. Leeds do not like Manchester United at all. But yes, and then they don't exactly. I don't blame them either. And then it's Watford away at the end of September. October starts maybe get a little bit more tricky. Wolves away, Spurs at home, Palace away, Chelsea at home. It's a bit of a London theme, so I've got to ask the Cockney himself, Josh. What do you make of October? Because it does seem quite difficult.
It's tough, isn't it? I mean, Tottenham at home. We've got a decent record against Tottenham at home, so there's no reason we shouldn't give it a go and go at them. But it is a tough month. The only likely win you'd look at is probably Palace, but at Selhurst Park, we tend to struggle a little bit. So it is a tough month. And I mean, Chelsea are Chelsea, aren't they? We've not got the best record against them recently.
No, exactly. November, Brighton away. That's always a tricky one, especially from last year. The shivers down the spine still there.
Yeah.
Brentford at home, and then it's Arsenal away. And this is the interesting month. I want to get both of your thoughts on December. Norwich and Burnley at home, not too bad, back-to-back home games. But then look at that. Leicester away, Liverpool away, Manchester City at home, Manchester United at home, and Everton away. I'm sorry, I'm going to include Everton in that because we don't have the best record at Goodison Park. Harry, after Burnley, it's going to be a long December.
Yes, absolutely. By the looks of the fixtures, obviously you don't know how the results go, but by the looks of the fixtures at the minute, those Norwich and Burnley games are going to be key. Then, yeah, looking at it, the Leicester, Liverpool, and Manchester City in the space of a week, that's horrific. And then followed by Man United and Everton, 2 games in 3 days. It's Merry Christmas, exactly.
Josh, it's just horrific, but it just shows that the Norwich and the Burnley game, 3 days apart from each other, are absolutely huge. We need to be taking, I'm going to say 4 points at the very worst from those 2 games, regardless of where Newcastle are in the league at that point.
Definitely. I'd even say maximum points is a must because, let's be honest, we're getting nothing out the rest of that month on paper. But, it's such a Newcastle thing. We'll go and win at least one of them.
Exactly. I just like the fact it's Manchester City at home before Christmas. I just love that. said absolutely no one.
City and then Man United.
Oh,
space of Christmas. So enjoy it, lads, because it's going to be lovely. Christmas.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I can't wait. January. Now, this is Josh. I've had mine and my little rounds. Harry has had his thoughts. Southampton away on New Year's Day. Are the Premier League just actually looking to actually hate us?
Yeah, of course they are. They just dislike us, don't they? It's the same every year. Every season we get stitched up. We're the only team that seem to get stitched up. And to make us, what is that, 400 and something miles?
On New Year's Day.
On New Year's Day. And they'll probably make it a 12 o'clock kickoff as well, because, why wouldn't they?
Exactly.
Just on the telly.
I don't get that. I just think it's absolutely bizarre.
It's embarrassing from the league. They need to, I always thought they looked at fixtures as if, right, around New Year's and Christmas, they're going to be local games. So as far down as maybe Manchester or Sheffield, not Southampton away. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Do you know what it is? And the Newcastle fans won't do this. I know they won't do this. But if I was anybody on the NUFC or who can speak to the Premier League, I'd boycott the Southampton game as a protest. There was not a chance you should be getting up at ridiculous o'clock on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, say 2 o'clock in the morning. Especially it's going to probably be a 3 o'clock kickoff on New Year's Day. There is an absolute disgrace from the Premier League. It's an absolute disgrace. Honestly, if I love my away games, I'm sure you two do as well. But I would put #boycott Southampton or boycott Saints on New Year's Day because that is an absolute joke from the Premier League. It really, really is. If you can put the graphic back on, Sam, with the fixtures, and we'll just continue from January to May. I think it was Watford at home and followed by Leeds United away. Leeds away is always a big one for Newcastle fans. Not too far down the road. It looks like it's going to be on a Saturday as well. I think a lot of people will be wanting tickets for Leeds away, Josh.
Definitely. I was just about to say, I just hope we can get there this season. So it's one of the best away days. It's just a fantastic day out, regardless of the football. It's just a good day out. It's such a nice stadium. And I've always had good memories there. Shearer's favourite ground, isn't it? So I've always had good memories down there.
I went to the Leeds game in the Championship, and that was a bit of an interesting one, shall we say. I'm glad we didn't go to the one last year when much of the COVID restrictions were open. That would have been an interesting away day. February, I'm going to try and see that. Everton at home, Aston Villa at home, and then we've got West Ham away and Brentford away. So we actually travelled to Brentford's new stadium towards the back end of February. March is going to be a bit of a crucial month. Brighton and Palace at home, Harry, with Chelsea away sandwiched in the middle. That's not too bad on paper.
No, it's not. Obviously, there could be big games by the time we come around. We just don't know yet. But yeah, you'd like to think at least 4 points from them too as well.
April and May. Wow, this is going to be interesting, isn't it? Spurs away, followed by Wolves and Leicester at home. Norwich away, and then Liverpool at home on the 30th of April. Look at that after after Liverpool on the 30th of April, Man City away, which we haven't got a great record in. Arsenal at home is our last game of the season. We just don't seem to do well against Arsenal. I think we've won the last 10 against Arsenal at St James's, and then Burnley away. Newcastle need to be in a good position, Harry, towards May, don't they? Because if they're not, it could be a bit of a sweetie bum.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a horrific end to the season. Barring Burnley away, which still isn't a nice fixture. That doesn't look good at all. You'd like to think we've got everything wrapped up or whatever we need by then.
Josh, is that towards the end of April, early May, going to be fascinating in terms of Newcastle? Because if Newcastle lets it, there's no takeover. We've still got Steve Bruce, and Newcastle aren't in a good position, or maybe just hovering above that relegation line. There's some massive games there where it's going to be really, really tough to get points in.
Yeah, huge. If you're going on the fact we'll still have Bruce, we need to be picking up everything before April, because April onwards is dead. That is a tough 2 months. But again, we'll pick points up here and there, but on paper, statistic it's dead. We're down off the back of those fixtures. If we're looking for points and we're struggling, those fixtures are not the ones you want to be walking into.
I'm just looking at obviously that's just a rundown of all the fixtures, and again, thanks to Sam putting that on screen. I think it's either Sam or Lee, but yeah, that is Newcastle United's fixtures for the 2021-22 season. Is West Ham at home, followed by Aston Villa away and Southampton at home. Josh, the first game of the season is at home. You'd like to think there's going to be a 50,000 capacity full of Newcastle fans.
I hope so.
You know, we had a little taste of the 10,000 fans against Sheffield United, but to have a full capacity against a team that we've got half a chance of winning, and I don't think it'll be chosen for TV. I think it'll depending if the TV companies will have every game live again. It should be an absolutely amazing atmosphere.
It should be incredible. I mean, if we can actually get 50,000 in, regardless of who the manager is, I think we'll just see one of the best atmospheres you've heard for years, because people just want to get in and back their lads. I think it's got to a point where people are just sick of fighting against the hierarchy and against everything. They just want to get in and back their lads. So I'm hoping it's just that. Yeah.
Harry, can you actually think what the noise is going to be like, regardless if it is, we get to see someone like Joe Linton playing on the right-hand side now and St Maximin's injured, but it would be fast. It would be great to see, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely! It'd just be brilliant to be back. As you said, the noise would be crazy. I think everyone would just be overjoyed to just be back and watching the football again in the stadium. It'd just be a wonderful feeling.
Just a recap, just on the Boxing Day fixtures. I know people like to see the Boxing Day fixtures, especially people like myself and Sam sit inside the house with turkey and betting all day. So these are the fixtures for Boxing Day: Brighton versus Brentford, Burnley versus Everton, Liverpool versus Leeds, Manchester City versus Leicester City, Newcastle at home to Manchester United. So everyone will be getting Boxing Day off. That'll be a very, very messy day, I think. Norwich versus Arsenal, Spurs, Palace, West Ham, Southampton and Wolves versus Watford. You've got to look at those first 6 fixtures. Obviously, they're just on the ticker on your screen, Josh and Harry. I'll start with you, Josh. How many points realistically, when you look at those six games that Steve Bruce has got to be targeting?
I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to be really greedy. I'm going for 8.
8 from the first 6?
8, yeah.
There's nothing we can do with more when you look at some of the games there?
We could, but I know Steve Bruce. And I know the football he's going to play. And it's all dependent on who he brings in, isn't it? And if we're actually still owned by Mr. Ashley. But looking at it, you'd expect, I fancy a win against West Ham, a draw against Villa. It's either a draw or win against Southampton. And then Man United is what it is. Leeds, again, it's one of those games they beat us quite convincingly last season. And then I think was it Watford, the other one?
Watford, yeah.
I think we'll beat Watford, so...
Harry, just before I get you in, we're going to get Mr. Mulliner in on the stream very, very shortly. Just let yourself in, Sam. It's an open door to StreamYard. He is actually, and he is babysitting. So if we hear, I think it looks like
just fell asleep.
It looks like Sam has mastered the task of looking after his child and doing behind the scenes on StreamYard. So congratulations,
and doing
Sam.
the graphics behind the snes as well. Yeah, I'm just freaking ace.
Sam, let's get your. I'll try and speak as quietly as possible. But But Sam, what is your reaction? West Ham at home. The first 6 fixtures are quite kind if you take away Manchester United away.
They are, but my instant reaction was, what an absolute fucking joke that New Year is. Not to mention 3 days before, you're already travelling to Everton. And then you're spending New Year down Southampton. What an absolute disgrace that is. That was my first reaction. How can they get away with that? That's disgusting.
Can I just ask, Sam? Would you? I don't know if you listened. I don't know if you're doing the graphic before, but would you put like a hashtag boycott Southampton on New Year's Day? I love my away fixtures, right? I absolutely love my away fixtures, but no Newcastle fan should be travelling down to Southampton on New Year's Day. If that was the other way around, I'm sure Southampton fans would be absolutely going up in arms. It's not fair. How are Newcastle meant to get in and back from Southampton in one day, apart from getting a bus, which will take about 8 hours? It's an absolute joke.
Well,
but
it'll be lashed down. But speaking of lash down, you want to get your tickets and your hotels booked for the Villa weekend, second game of the season. Oi oi, come down to mine and Carl's neighbourhood. So
definitely.
Of course, Lee's in the comments now makes a very valid point that they're going to absolutely be torn apart, these fixtures, by the TV companies. So, but you're all going to come down for the weekend for Villa anyway, aren't you? So it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Sam, December is very, very tricky. After Norwich and Burnley at home, it's Leicester, Liverpool, then away from home, and then the Manchester clubs, City first, then United on Boxing Day, followed by Everton, as you've mentioned. December after that Burnley game is huge for Newcastle because it's going to be tough.
Normal, isn't it? Merry fucking Christmas. It's the same every year. It's the same every year, isn't it? Though, but the Manchester clubs back to back, and then two away days. All right, Everton's not too bad on the 28th, but it's still travel for you lot. Not for me, it's about an hour from me, but that Southampton New Year's Day, man, what an absolute disgrace. So you either make a choice of not having going on the last New Year's Eve, or spending the time away from your family. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry, I am not going to Southampton on New Year's Day.
It's not even like it's a good day out, because it's not.
No. I've been to Southampton away.
Spending New Year away from your family, stuck in a hotel room, which is very, very bleak, isn't it?
Yeah. Harry, let's get your thoughts on, potentially what Steve Bruce will be thinking. Do you think when he looks at those first 6 fixtures, we think, oh, that's not too bad, but I do need some points on the board. If I can get a few points on the board, then it gives me a little bit of breathing space with the fans, maybe.
I think so. Yeah. If you look at the 3 home games, they are all winnable, I would say. You'd be wanting at least 5 points from them, and you've got a relegated team in there. A promoted team in there. And Man United away is obviously not a good one, but you're going to have to, law of averages, you're going to face at least one of the big 6 in the first 6 games. So, I think he'll be looking at it as pretty good, to be fair. Yeah.
Josh, I think it's for me. It's always crucial when you look at the first couple of home fixtures we've got, and the first couple of home fixtures are quite nice. I know they're not going to. No game in the Premier League is easy anymore, but when you're looking at West Ham, Southampton, and Leeds, they're all kind of finished. They're never going to really be a massive relegation bother, in my opinion. I think they're always just a little bit too good. So they're going to be the teams we're probably competing against when you look at your 12, your 13s, 14s. I don't think West Ham are going to have the same season as they did last year. I think Leeds probably will drop off a tiny bit. I don't think they'll be involved in relegation battles too much. But those are the games that you're going to have to nick points of just to make sure that you're above any relegation bother, really.
Yeah, definitely. They're the sort of games we need to look at. I think, right, we need to attack and win and get points on the board early in the season. Because as we've all seen, that back end of the season is horrific. So we need to build and pick up as much as we can, especially with teams. The start of the season is when teams are still adjusting. So that's our chance to sort of go in and nick the points. And because I can't see us signing many, so it'll be the same core of players as last season. Hopefully, we don't lose anyone drastically, and then we just attack. I just want to see some attacking football for a change.
Yeah, I think everybody wants to see some attacking football. I think everybody wants to see Joe Willock and a few few more signings as well, but that'll be interesting. Just to recap the first weekend's fixtures all the way through: Brentford versus Arsenal. What a big game for Brentford at their first game in the Premier League. Burnley, Brighton. Not really looking forward to that one, I have to be honest.
What a game of football that is.
Oh my God. That's going to be quite a big game as well. They'll probably both be looking at going, probably don't really want that first game of the season. The Champions League winners, Chelsea, they take on Crystal Palace at Stamford Bridge. Everton, they're at home to Southampton. Leicester take on Wolves. Man United, Leeds, that'll be one of the big games that weekend. Newcastle, West Ham, as we've mentioned, big game for Steve Bruce. Norwich versus Liverpool. That'll be a bit of an exciting one. Norwich like to play expansive football, so Liverpool. Manchester City, the champions, they travel to Tottenham, and Watford take on Aston Villa. So that is going to be fascinating, to say the least. Sam, there is some very good games. Sam, Harry, Josh, if there's one away game you'd like to go to next season, which game would you like to go to? Sam, you first.
This needs more thought. Come back to me.
Harry, is the one away game that you'd like to go to first?
Pretty similar. I don't know. Probably. I reckon the Villa one will be quite good, especially depending on how we do against West Ham. The hopes might still be up. It just depends, really. But I reckon Villa is always a good day out. Yeah,
very good. It's a very good day out. We've done the Witten Arms. If you've ever been, let us know in the comments. Josh, you obviously
Brentford.
Is it because it's in London, or is it just because you want to give it a different away game? Yeah,
it's a new stadium. For nostalgia, I can't get my words out. For nostalgia, Leeds. I love Leeds. It's a great away day. But Brentford is brand new, so I'd like to get there.
Yeah,
another one to tick off the list.
Exactly, Sam. Which one for you?
I would say Leeds as well. But obviously all the local ones to me: Villa, Wolves, Leicester-ish. Yeah, that'd be good. Maybe a couple of the two Liverpool teams as well. That wouldn't be too bad, but very rare you get results there. Although we did at Everton last season, didn't we?
I love how
I'm really distracted. I don't know if you can hear whether it's being picked up on my mic. Lucy is snoring.
Yeah, Sam, don't worry. We've all snored when you're talking, mate. Don't worry about that. You always put us to sleep. Don't worry about that. But yeah, I think we'll wrap things up very, very shortly, guys, because I think it's been a fascinating open set of fixtures, to say the least. Josh, let's not put a dampener on this, but we don't want any relegation worries this season. Can you be optimistic? I know it's so early and we're still talking really about England, but can we really get excited about Newcastle, hopefully?
I want to. I really want to, because I'm sick of it all. So it's all dependent. I mean, talk of the takeover is still ongoing, and there's all this news about Ashley, and he's very confident with himself by July. But if it's the same regime next season, I mean, let's just hope for somewhere near 10th.
Exactly, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Harry, do you think we can improve on last year?
Well, I'd like to think so, but it's the same every year. Let's improve on last year, and then it's just the same old 45, 46 points. So I'd like to think so, but if it's the same regime, people in charge, I doubt it.
Sam, do you think that Steve Bruce can get fans on side early, and he's got some good chances to do that? Look, we said at the start of the show, Steve Bruce will be thinking, right, if I can get a couple of wins very early on, it'll keep the atmosphere quite good. It'll make it okay for himself. There's a lot of pressure going on into this season for him in particular. Yes, there's a year left on his contract, but he'll probably be looking for a renewal of his contract if Newcastle don't get taken over.
Well, it's vital you get off to a good start. Them two first home games are first three home games are really winnable. So you need to be picking up at least 2 wins from them first 3 home games. Ideally, you'd want to win all 3, but I think Josh was about right with 8 points. That's what I'm expecting. Not what I want, but I'd want, like you say, Jonny, a bit more than that. But it's imperative you get off to a good start, because if you don't with them fixtures and then you roll on to more tricky bundles of games, then the pressure's on, and then you're going to get what the atmosphere would have been during that bad run last season. I
think we need 11 points minimum from those. When you look at how nice ish. Not fixtures. No fixtures are going to be perfect, but those.
It'd be nice to
11 points.
get something from Villa this time round. The last twice we've not really shown up. The last 2 seasons, and we've lost 2-0 both times. Whereas historically we've got a good record there. So
yeah,
it'd be nice to put that right.
Exactly, we need to definitely put that right, because that'll probably be my first away game of the season. I think I'm off work that week, so I'm looking forward to it already. I'm thinking about booking me tickets now. But I think that we'll wrap it up there. I think it's been a fantastic show, gents. Nice to see Harry and Josh on as well. Greenwood Mulliner shows. We had Dan Barlaser on the other day, so make sure you give that a watch as well. If you can give this video a like, that would be fantastic. And get in the comments, how many points can you see Newcastle get in the first 6 games? Because I think Newcastle are going to have to get 11 points, in my personal opinion, if they want to have a strong season. Big thanks to Josh, to Harry, to Sam, and to Lucy, making a little appearance as well on a very, very fascinating day. From all of us here at Newcastle Fans TV, we'll see you all very, very soon.